Hey guys, so in this video we're just going to do some improvements and fixes because we haven't done it in a while, and also there is quite a few things that are not working correctly. So first thing we're going to do is fix enemy health bar, because at the moment no matter how far you are from the enemy it always shows. So even if I jump from the platform you can still see the health bar on the screen. So we don't want that. To fix it, let's open enemy blueprint, and what we're going to do is we're going to be checking distance from the player, and if the distance is greater than certain number that we will set, we will hide the health bar. So first let's select enemy HUD, which is the health bar and everything else. And here on the tick mode, I'm going to set it to disabled. That way it won't actually run, so it won't be visible. Compile and save. And then we're going to create custom event, so add custom event. And this one we can call something like start health bar check. And we don't want to do this on tick because tick runs like 100 times per second, so it can reduce our performance. Instead we're going to create our own timed event, and we can set it to something like 1 second. So first thing we're going to do is set timer by event. As I said, we're going to do it only once per second, so it won't affect performance at all. And we're going to set it to looping. And then from the event, we're going to create event. And here you can select create matching event. And this one we can call check distance. To check the distance of the player, we need player reference. We don't have it created here in the enemy. But what we can do is we just need the actor reference, not direct player reference. So we can do get player controller, and we will get controlled pawn. So the pawn that we're currently controlling, which will be the player anyway. And then we will promote this to a variable, and this will be player reference. But as you can see, it's not a direct reference because this is reference to just any pawn. So as I said, it's a little bit more performant than casting and saving the actual player reference. And now we can use it. So let's go back down to this check distance, and we're going to get that player reference, get actor location, and we're going to search for distance, vector, copy this actor location. We will get one more, which will be self, so the enemy, connect it here, and this will give us float value of distance. And we're going to check if this is greater than, I don't know, you can put something like 2000, that is 20 meters. Branch, connect it here. And if it is, we're going to get the enemy HUD, and we're going to set visibility. Or you know what, we can do set hidden in game. Set hidden in game, and new hidden needs to be true, so it hides it. And then we need to also promote this to a variable, this event, so we can turn it off. So promote to variable, and this one can be just timer handle. And here we're going to get it, and we're going to clear and invalidate timer by handle, which will stop it. On false we don't have to do anything, but instead we're going to unhide it here before we start the event. So when we call this start health bar check, we're also going to get enemy HUD. Careful, don't get a target lock, because that might get confusing. They look the same pretty much, but it will mess up the whole function. So get the enemy HUD, and we will do set tick mode, and we will do automatic. So there is disabled, enabled, or automatic. We disabled it by default. If you do automatic, it only updates when it needs to update. So when we move around the enemy and it needs to like rotate, or when he takes like health damage, then it needs to update as well. But it won't run if you're just standing idle and not moving. So again, that's another performant way to do this. and we'll set it here. But before we want to start this start health bar check on multiple events. We want to start it when we target the enemy, then when we damage the enemy, and also when enemy sends us with the pawn sensing. So we don't want to start it multiple times. So again, we're going to get this timer by handle, and we're going to check is timer active by handle. So if it's already running, we'll do branch. And if this is false, so it's not running, we'll connect it to this set tick mode automatic. So this is the setup that we're going to be doing. If you want to increase this value or decrease it, feel free to do that. And then what we want to do is start this health bar check. As I said, first we're going to get it on where is the pawn sensing? First, we do have the target lock here. So when we toggle the target lock, we're going to start health bar check. So here, no matter if it's false or true, basically when we call this event toggle target lock, which will target the enemy, we will start this health bar check, so we will make it visible. Copy it, then let's go to pawn sensing, this one here. And if that pawn is player, we're going to start health bar check. And one more thing is when we take damage, so event point damage, here in the end, we can also start health bar check. Compile and save. And now health bar should be hidden. As you can see, it's not there. And let's test it out by targeting. So if I press tab, it's visible. And now when I run away, it's hidden. It doesn't show you. And it only runs once per second, so it doesn't need to check that often. And also, let's test it out if we attack. So attacking this enemy, you can see the health bar is there now. I set enemy health bar to like 2000 health, so that's why I'm not taking that much damage. But then again, it will hide. And one last thing is if the enemy sees us. So I can even copy multiple enemies. And as soon as they see me, you can see they all got a health bar. Alright, so that's working fine as intended. Because if we have it always on the distance, you know, if as soon as we come in within the distance of the enemy and we would show the health bar, it wouldn't be good when you like shooting from the bow, because it would be kind of in a way from quite a high distance. So you don't want that. You always want to do it only on some kind of events like we set up. Alright, so this is done. The second small fix I wanted to do is just at the moment in enemy as well. This one here, event stagger. I'm not sure if you noticed, but if you stagger an enemy with the parry, when you parry him and stun him, and then kill him, he will basically, after he finishes playing this montage, even if he's dead, he will start sensing again, even though we turned it off on the death. And that is just because it's done on the completed here. So what we need to do to prevent that from attacking when this enemy is dead is here we're going to get gameplay tags, check if it has tag, and we're going to find death, which is character, status. Oh, it's not in status. We put it where is that in the checks. That should maybe be status. And we'll see. This should probably work as well. So connected here, and if the character is dead, we don't enable the update, but on false, again, we will start sensing updates. So if we kill him during the stagger, he won't return to pawn sensing. That's the second thing. Then one small fix, it's this is going to be a big callback, but someone have just noticed it in remove item function. At least I haven't done it, but remove item, if you open it on the player blueprint, we do have these functions and we do have a quantity. But the thing is, we're here removing the weight of the item, but we're not checking how many items we are removing. So we're removing weight only for one item. So let's say this happens only, I think, when we're crafting items, because that's when you can craft something with like 20 iron bars, but it will remove only one weight of the one iron bar. So you don't want that. What we need to do is we're going to multiply weight by quantity and then set it to local weight. So it will remove the correct amount. And that's pretty much it. So this should fix the issue. And default value for quantity is 1 always. So even when we're using it without changing the quantity, it will always give us correct weight. Another thing I wanted to fix is in combat component. We're doing these events here when we do it only once per each attack for multiple damage types, and then we reset it. So I said that we need to also do it for other events, which we got here for parrying. So here we have parry and we spawning system at location, but if you have 4 different damage types, you will be doing it 4 times. Also calling the stagger for enemy 4 times and stuff like that, which can cause issues. So what we're going to do is create the stagger event, parry event. And what we will need? We will need one variable, which is damage causer. So let's go to event graph. Down here, we're going to add custom event, and this will be parry event. As I said, we need an input, so click on a plus and do damage causer, which is just actor reference. So find actor. Careful again, don't do AR actor, just actor object reference. And then we're going to go to take damage and we're going to select all of these plus this, Control X, and here just connect parry event and damage causer we can get as a variable. So get damage causer on the bottom and connect it. And now we go to event graph and we paste that function here. All those nodes connected. Damage causer only goes to this bit here in the end. There we go. And then we also need to reset it when the attack is finished. So here we got this sequence, which will reset all of these events that are happening only once. And that's on the end of the attack. And we will drag it to, we don't have a do once node, so copy do once node, add it here. Do once completed, and from the second one we'll drag it here to reset. Alright, so that will be happening one time only, perfect block and all this stuff. We can actually test it out if it's working correctly, so let me grab some weapon. Get one of these guys. I'm not gonna block now. It's hard to track when there is multiple of them. Okay. So staggered, that one got staggered. And that's working fine. Alright. That's another issue. And let me check if we got one more event that we need to set up here. So take damage. And here somewhere, stop weapon sound, play weapon sound. So anything that we shouldn't play multiple times should not be here. Calculate block damage, stop weapon sound, calculate block damage, play block event. So this one here, when we set character stance, when we break block, so that is another one that we need to play only once, because we don't want to break block multiple times. So we're going to set up another custom event, same thing as this one here. This one will be custom event, and we can call it block break event. Again, copy do once node, connect it here, add another one to sequence, and reset it. Take damage, go to that calculate block damage, is it? Yeah. And here what do we need? Get owner. That is all fine, we don't need any reference. So Control and X. Here from true we will do block, what was it? Block break events. Call it, and then let's go to event graph, paste it, and everything else is the same here, but now it will play only one sound and one block break animation and so on. Compile and save. We can also test it out. Let me get something that doesn't have high blocking value. There we go. Alright, that seems to be working fine. And now last thing I wanted to do is, at the moment, if you play the game, you can see my mana is regenerating. If I open the inventory, it is not regenerating. The game is not paused on anything, but the mana is filling up in the background, but here it stays the same. And that is just because we're updating it only when we open the inventory. Okay, we're refreshing it. So what we need to do is update it whenever the stats are updated as well. So for that, let's find where it is located. I think if we go to third person blueprints, widgets, and we have inventory widget, here you got these stats. Or just find where you actually located it if you don't have it same setup as I do. And then we're actually setting them manually one by one. I might change it eventually to data table. So we'll create a data table that will have a picture and a color that we need to use. And then we can just pull it out from the data table and just set as many stats as we want, which will be easier than doing it one by one. But for now, all we're going to do is find that event which sets it, build inventory, refresh equipment slots, display stats. This is it. So here we're getting the stats from stats component and then adding them. So in stats component, if you were to open it, components, stats component, in set current stat, we do have this event dispatcher that we're calling every time the stat is updated. Since all of these functions pretty much go through set current stat, all we have to do is bind it. So same as we do have in player HUD, when we update health bar or anything, we go to inventory, and we, from the player reference, we can get it directly, get component, get stats component. And we need the reference for dispatcher, so this is it. And then we call, bind event on stat updated, this one here. So bind event on stat updated, and then from event we can just open event. Where is it? Just search for create event, and then here we'll do create matching event, and this one will be update stats. And then we can just, instead of calling it again, we can just connect it where the display stats are and call this one. So it will refresh all of them again because it will get the current values. So now, if I were to, let's say, print string here to test it out if it's working, this will just say hello for now. You can say as soon as I open inventory, it will spam hello because mana is regenerating, so the stats are updating. And you can see my mana goes to full. And then it stops, and I will stop printing hellos because it doesn't need to update anymore. The stats are staying the same. Okay, but now we got updated stats always. So that's pretty much it. We can close this, delete this, and then just compile, save all, and that is it for this video. If you have any issues that you have found or something that should work in a different way, then let me know as well on the Discord or on the YouTube, and we'll fix it. But now I do have a few plans that for the next couple of videos that we need to do, so I'll probably go into breakable objects because I wanted to do that for some time, but we needed to have a combat setup first, so that will probably be the next video. And I'll see you then. Bye.